Hello everyone, and welcome to another class in the dark arts with Professor Dave Voldemort. Some people have asked if I really know magic. Well, good question. If I didn't know magic, could I do this? Poof, I'm here. Poof, now I'm there. Poof, I'm back where I started, at least close. Now that we've settled that, today we're going to be talking about a painting by a man named Fuseli. It's a painting called The Nightmare. And it doesn't just have scary pictures, it also talks about scary things that happen inside of humans' minds. This week there are no boob, butt, or horrible violence warnings. There's a demon. If you're not allowed to look at demons, go away. Why are you watching the dark arts if you're not allowed to look at demons? And there's a crazy horse. If you're specifically afraid of crazy horses, look at this guy. No, don't look at that guy if you're specifically afraid of crazy horses. I take that back. Don't look at him. Fuseli, the painter of this beautiful masterpiece behind me. He was born Swiss, but then he moved and did most of his work in England. And he was doing this work in the late 1700s, which was also the time of the Enlightenment, which is when science became incredibly popular, and reason and logic, and people wanted to focus on painting things like historical events. People wanted to paint pictures like a beautiful landscape. Look at all these cliffs with all this moss. Isn't that neat? But that's not the type of paintings we look at. We look for someone who's doing something different at the time, and Fuseli was doing something different at a time when that is all that anyone was showing anywhere. They were just painting, look at this guy on a horse, look at this ship that's wrecking, look at this cliff with moss on it. He said no, look at this vision from deep within the subconscious of the human mind, and that's why he's our type of guy. This painting does have one of my favorite characters of all time in it, and we'll get to him, or her. First off, we have a lady who's knocked out cold. She's asleep, but she doesn't look like she's resting. She's also painted very light, very white, so that she stands out against the darkness and the shadows of everything else, almost as if she's from the realm of light and everything else is from the realm of shadows. And then as you carry your eye around, you see she's not in a restful position. She seems like she's having a very unrestful night of sleep. That's because she is in the nightmare, and sitting upon her is an incubus, the type of demon. The word incubus was everywhere that I did research on this, and that's what that thing is. It's an incubus. He looks kind of cool. I mean, he looks like a cool guy. I'm down. I think I like incubuses. I had to adjust my hood. What else do we see? Dark curtains in the background. We see beautiful painting of very realistic tapestry. We see the same trick that we saw in another painting, Saturn devouring his son, which is that the person who's going through the trauma is painted very light and in great detail, and then the things that are causing the trauma are more sunken back in the shadows. And again, I think this speaks to what the artists are really trying to say with these works, that the darkest things are sometimes the things that are going on inside the human mind, inside the subconscious, the things that you can't stop from going on, even when you try. Things like nightmares. Now, let's get to the best part of the painting. The greatest character, maybe in the history of paintings. There's some pretty good ones in Hieronymus Bosch too, I'm not gonna lie, but Crazy Horse. Look at the eyes on this thing. The only thing in the background that's anywhere close to as light as the lady's dress and the lady's skin is this thing's just shining, empty eyes, just haunting you, and then it fades. It's called chiaroscura, when it fades into the shadow and goes into nothingness, but you can just, it's implied that that whole horse is there, or it's just a horse's head on something else. Who knows? But look at those eyes. If I was a cowboy, I like to think that would be my horse. And together we would ride. Wouldn't we, Crazy Horse? You can't answer me. You're like 500 years old or something. And you were fake then. My dream will never come true. So what does it all mean? What does the nightmare mean? Many people have the theory that I have said of it representing the way that the subconscious mind can torture the person. Other people think that she's laid in this sort of, shall we say, seductive position. It's supposed to be sitting upon her chest in order to represent anxiety, that the desires in your mind that you don't let out, and the desires in your mind that you choose not to act on, they've manifested themselves in this way of this nightmare, of this torture that comes from within. Pretty dark, cool stuff, right? And also there's Crazy Horse. I've never heard anybody have a theory about why Crazy Horse is there. I assume he's there because he's been waiting for me so we could ride Me and you, Crazy Horse. I would say that this painting left a legacy behind. I've seen it imitated many times. It's considered a forerunner of the Romanticism movement because of the fact that it's expressing sort of ideas over just basic representation. Painters for a long time there were acting like great photographers. They might have pretended to be a photographer from the past, but they just wanted to make real stuff as real as they could. And then now we start tapping into the subconscious mind, and this is way before anybody was talking about those sorts of things. Sigmund Freud was far away, and we were already painting about it, and it left an effect on artists in the future, myself included. Enclosure. Tonight, when you go to sleep, Crazy Horse is gonna get you. If you enjoyed this trip into the darker side of art, then make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you can come on back, check out the next time that we do it. This is the beginning of a series. I've been getting a lot of support, and I just really want to thank everybody that showed up. I'm gonna keep going, making new stuff, because you guys are watching. So with that said, this is Professor Dave Voldemort, and